will also work with industry collaborators, which include Mid American and Alliant Energy, Iowa's two largest electric and gas utilities, seed giants Monsanto and Pioneer Hybrid, wind turbine manufacturers TPI Composites Incorporated, Clipper Turbine Works, and Acciona Wind Power North America, and Iowa North Wellray, as well as several of Iowa's community colleges who happen to, like the Iowa Lakes example that I just read from the Occupational Outlook Quarterly, provide wind turbine, wind energy curriculum. And so that's why the community colleges are involved in that. All very interesting and directly from the Power Fund. In the same edition of the paper, the same section actually, the Thursday Des Moines, or December 9th, there's another article about the Power Fund. Let's see. Lawmaker, some state programs need to go. Okay. The Iowa Power Fund and Grow Iowa Values Fund are two on Speaker-elect Craig Paulson's list. The lawmaker said he'd start with the Iowa Power Fund, a $25 million annual program that Governor Chet Culver created to spark renewable energy development. He'd also asked the Grow Iowa Values Fund, the state's premier economic development program, and, quote, replace it with something that puts Iowans to work. And so that article also continues on the next page. This is according to Branstad spokesman Tim Albrecht. Some business leaders told legislative leaders that they back a passenger rail line from Iowa City to Chicago. And Des Moines leaders hope the line will eventually connect to Omaha going through the capital. Tim Albrecht said that Branstad has requested additional information from state and federal transportation leaders about the cost and ongoing expense of the passenger rail. So he didn't say no. However, it's expected to cost the state about $21 million and the federal government $80 million. And then Craig Paulson said that passenger rail is worth exploring. So the door is being left open a crack for passenger rail that has not been dismissed. And so I take it as a good sign. I take it as a very good sign that there's room for more conversation, more room for more research, room for more consideration of that issue. And I do think it needs to be considered a little bit more in depth instead of an out and out no. And I would say the same also with the Iowa Power Fund, which is, basically on a hit list. I would really, really hate to see our number 2 status for wind energy, which is about 2 to 3% of total energy usage in the United States, to be smashed for various reasons. And so hopefully that will be also considered in depth, and some action can be taken that would be a benefit to Iowa, not a detriment, and especially to our young people. We all want something to look forward to, and emerging technology, emerging energy, renewable energy, job creation, and our number 2 status is something that we, have to look forward to. Okay. And so I'm going to finish with a couple more articles. This is from the Indianola Record Herald. And it says John C. Culver Public Policy Center opens at Simpson. And let's see, pink camera. The new John C. Culver Public Policy Center at Simpson College is officially open. And Culver served in the U.S. House of Representatives for Iowa from 1965 to 75, and the U.S. Senate from 1975 to 81 before falling to Republican Chuck Grassley for re-election. And so the director of the Culver Center said the center will continue Culver's work in civic education and engagement. And there's a Culver Fellow Scholarship available for public service. And Simpson was chosen because of their association with Iowa, with the family of Henry A. Wallace. And then Wallace's friendship with and his colleague George Washington Carver. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And that between the years of 1933 and 1946, Wallace, an Iowa native, served as Secretary of Agriculture, Vice President, and Secretary of Commerce. And so it does go on to say that Culver's son, Chet, is the current governor of Iowa. And so we just learned about the legacy of John Culver's father, and it makes me wonder what will the legacy of Chet Culver, our current governor, will be. There's talk that he's going to continue on in renewable energy, specifically wind energy, which, to tell the truth, would be something pretty interesting to see. It was Terry Branstad that laid the groundwork for the renewable energy standard in Iowa. Tom Vilsack continued, but it really, really flourished, wind energy, under Chet Culver's governorship. So we'll see how that plays out. But in the meantime, it's a great thing that his father, Culver's father, is being acknowledged by that Public Policy Center in Simpson. All right, so then we're going to go to our last article, and that's from the Des Moines Register. And this is from the Thursday, December 9th, Des Moines Register. And it says, Congress should include energy recycling in tax bill. All right. Iowa's economy is clearly on the mend, according to this article. And in the past 6 months, 20,000 jobs were created, and a survey of the Iowa Business Council shows our biggest employers are seeking growth. Among the most economically beneficial opportunities, energy efficiency initiatives can help improve business and competitiveness and profits for years. Dating back to Thomas Edison, energy recycling is helping with economies around the world produce more goods with less fossil fuel and lower pollution. So it's a type. Energy recycling is when fossil fuels like coal and gas are burned to produce electricity. Normally, part of that energy is lost as waste heat, but in terms of energy recycling, they want to capture that heat and use it for another purpose. So for energy-intensive businesses such as Iowa's manufacturers that make machinery, process foods, and develop chemicals, this waste heat is simply vented into the atmosphere. But recycled energy techniques, which include combined heat and power or cogeneration, allow manufacturers to capture that heat and turn it into 100% clean power. That lowers its energy costs and increases productivity. So Archer Daniels Midland has a 180 megawatt cogeneration plant in Clinton, and that powers the company's corn processing and renewable plastics plants. And then also ArcelorMittal's Northern Indiana steel plant, energy recycling projects capture and harness the manufacturer's waste heat to generate 220 megawatts of power. So that's more clean electricity than all the solar panels connected to the U.S. electric grid. All right, harnessing this source of clean power could provide up to 20% of U.S. electric capacity by 2030 and create nearly 1 million jobs. And so the article is going on to say, imagine what it could do for a strong manufacturing state like Iowa. So Congress is considering investment tax credits for industrial energy efficiency, including combined heat and power and other energy recycling projects. Great. Iowa's congressional delegation, particularly Chuck Grassley, as ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee, should back tax credits, according to this article, to make it possible for Iowa's manufacturers to unleash the power of recycled energy technology. So that's the state of jobs and energy and renewable and green economy in Iowa. And I finished with that recycling of energy article because it leads into the topic of the show, recycling. And that's the processing of materials to prevent waste. And in that article, they were talking about recycling energy.